We begin in Mexico, where a magnitude 7.4 earthquake hit the southern coastline Tuesday. At least 5 people were killed and many others were evacuated. So let's go live to our correspondent, Alastair Baverstock in Mexico City. Alastair, morning from Beijing. Well, first of all, give us the latest.
Well, very good morning to you. So far, as you mentioned, we've only seen 5 people confirmed dead and perhaps 30 more have been injured in this earthquake. But it was quite a ride. It went for anything between 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And as you mentioned, 7.4 earthquake is no joke. The buildings were swaying around me, people very scared in the street, and windows, a lot of them breaking around us as this earthquake went on. 7.4 is no joke, but for Mexico, the way the country was able to handle it was due in part to its pre-warning system. The epicenter of the earthquake happened down on the Oaxaca coast. That's more than 800 kilometers from Mexico City. And because Mexico City and the rest of the country have very sensitive earthquake sirens, which go off very loudly to alert the population, by the time that the tremors arrived here in Mexico City, the sirens had already been going off for 3 or so minutes, allowing people to get away from places which might have been dangerous and get to safety out of their buildings and into strong parts of the city. So far, relatively low damage both to buildings and to life here in Mexico, but nevertheless a very scary moment.
Indeed. Well, the earthquake has triggered a tsunami. What do we know about that?
Well, as you mentioned, the earthquake was down on the Pacific coast, so we are continuing to see very strong waves which continue to break against the Pacific coastline and continue to pose a danger to the people who live along that coastline. Yet, when it comes to the actual danger caused by this earthquake, compared to the very strong one we saw 3 years ago in 2017, today's earthquake was actually far stronger, 7.4 magnitude as opposed to 7.1 in 2017. The big difference is here because the one in 2017 was so much more disastrous when it took place, was the fact that firstly the epicenter in 2017 was far closer to Mexico City, and secondly the seismology of today's earthquake was different. When earthquakes in Mexico happen along the Pacific coast, they tend to go from side to side, as we saw today. 3 years ago the earthquake tremors were going up and down diagonally, and that's what really does damages to big buildings like this behind me, and which is why it was so disastrous 3 years ago. Today, Mexico is shaken up, but still in relatively good shape.